Hey everyone, Mark here with Amplified.training. Before we dive into today's video, make sure to find me over on Instagram as Amplified.training. And also, I offer one-to-one coaching. If that's something you'd be interested in, the odds are very good. I'd love to work with you. With that being said, let's get into it. Today's video is all about setting up a 3 days a week full-body fat loss training program. And for the sake of simplicity, we're going to call this program Thrive. With regards to training for fat loss, I think a lot of people tend to go wrong, and they go wrong in one of two ways. The first and more common route is they just start piling on the volume. Oh, well, I'm losing fat, so I should do more volume and do more work. And the reason I really don't like this approach is you're adding a lot of gym time. And on top of that, when you're doing these big workouts with 30, 40 working sets, you're not going to be working very hard with that much volume. And it's hard efforts that really help drive muscle growth, let alone muscle retention in a fat loss phase. The other side of it is when people start piling on all the HIIT workouts, they pull a CrossFit, just crazy amounts of high-intensity metabolic conditioning work. With all training, it acts as a stress to our body. Our body needs to adapt to that stress. But when you're in a calorie deficit, your body's ability to manage and adapt to the training stress is severely limited. So as a result, when you pile on the volume, pile on the Metcon, especially if you do both at the same time, which a lot of people love to do, what happens is you start spinning your wheels and you drain your battery so quickly and you wind up feeling worse. And we want to avoid that, and that's what the program Thrive is all about. I get that the all-in mindset of just changing everything all out at once is very appealing, right? We talk about 75 hard. I'm more of a 365 consistent kind of guy. Training intelligently is about training through the highs and lows of your day-to-day life, adjusting with those ebbs and flows. The simple fact is, when in a calorie deficit, which you need to be, and as part of a fat loss phase, you have to adapt around that. The game isn't just about training as hard or as long as possible, but training as efficiently and effectively as possible. The program itself is somewhat minimalist in nature, but in this case, I think that's to our benefit. By reducing our gym time, we're going to cut out what doesn't really matter and focus in on what does. Let's get into the program. Those suffering from Frenchness use a term called mise en place, everything in its place. When setting your training schedule, what you want to do is look at your week overall. I have this set for a Monday to Friday timeline. That way you can have weekends off. You would have lifting days on Monday and Wednesday, a full body conditioning day on Friday, and then optional cardio conditioning days on Tuesday and Thursday. You could adjust this better to suit your weekly schedule, but the big thing is with those two lifting days, have at least one day apart from them and make sure you're getting your conditioning day in. And the workout should take approximately an hour, give or take. Unlike a lot of my other programs, Thrive is written around the idea of someone working out in a gym kind of like a Planet Fitness or more of a health club style facility where they don't have access to a lot of specialty gear, or maybe they're not even using a barbell quite yet. That said, if you got access to specialty gear, feel free to swap it in as you will. We're also not going to be doing a lot of supersets or a ton of circuits because commercial gyms can get crowded. Lastly, I want you to pick one upper body lift, be it a bench or an overhead press, and one lower body lift, be it a squat or a deadlift, that you want to prioritize. You will be training the opposite lift as well, just with a little less priority and using a, shall we say, lower loading variation. Alrighty, starting off the week, we have session 1 here. You'll begin the workout with either a squat or deadlift of your choice, and the program works on a 4-week wave. In week 1, you're going to work up to a heavy 8, drop 20%, do a set of 10. Week 2, heavy 6, back off set of 8. Week 3, heavy 5, back off set of 6. And then in week 4, you're going to take whatever you did in week 1 out for a set of 6 to 10. Then you're going to go into a superset of either a dumbbell bench or a dumbbell overhead press, whichever one you're not prioritizing on this day, superset with the lat pull down. And you'll see the sets and reps just decrease across the week. Then after that is the ab wheel. So 4 exercises. And as long as you're training hard, you're going to get a lot out of them. But then after that, we move into our little finisher here. What I did with this program is we implemented some pump and conditioning finishers, help target some of those neglected muscles, as well as just get a little bit of a hit burst, get you feeling good. It's going to be 10 to 15 minutes, max rounds. 5 double kettlebell snatch, 5 double kettlebell push press, 25 jumping jacks, 5 double kettlebell thrusters, and then another 25 jumping jacks. As many rounds as you can, and set the timer for 10 to 15 depending on your current fitness levels and where you're at. That concludes day 1. Moving on to day 2, you'll start with either a bench or overhead press, and this is the one you are prioritizing, and it follows a very similar flow to the lower body lift, however we do higher reps. So it's a heavy 10, and then 2 back off sets of 12, heavy 8, 2 back off sets of 10, heavy 6, 2 back off sets of 8, and then in week 4 you're going to do a single set of 8 to 12 with week 1's weight. Then you're going to move into a superset of either a split squat or a split RDL, whichever one you didn't do on Monday. So for example, if you're squatting on Monday, you'd be doing a split RDL today, superset with a row of your choosing, sets, reps increase across the weeks, and then a side plank. And then your finisher here, this is a really fun one. You're going to start with a buy-in. You're going to row 500 to 750 meters, depending on your fitness levels. Then you do 21, 18, 15, 12, 9, 6, 3 each of tricep press downs, dumbbell curls, and lateral raises as a circuit. This is a great little triple set here because you can set up with a cable station with a couple pairs of dumbbells, not choke up a bunch of equipment, not choke up a bunch of space, but get a lot done really quickly, get an insane pump in the arms and shoulders, and then you'll buy out with the same way you came in, doing the rows. And that concludes the strength training for the week. Let's move on to the conditioning day. So for the conditioning day, this one's a little more equipment intensive. I tried to pick movements that anyone can do at most any gym. Again, the idea was this could be run in kind of a health club or Planet Fitness type gym. And what you'll do is you'll do all the movements listed as a circuit. So you'd start with dumbbell thrusters, gorilla rows, the rower machine, kettlebell swings, and Russian twists. And in week 1, you do that circuit, 15 seconds work, then 45 seconds rest and transition. Week 2, 20 seconds of work, 40 seconds rest and transition. Week 3, 25 on, 35 off, rest and transition. And then in week 4, you'd go 30-30, so a 1-to-1 work to rest ratio. And naturally, you can mix and match the movements as you need. You just want to think cyclical movements that are done quickly, that you can't really do slowly. We want to not have a lot of time under tension, but we want movements that chain together really nicely. This could be no push-up burpees, battle ropes, the ski erg, air bike, even body weight squats, whatever you have access to. So this is an area to kind of get creative, but the big thing is if you are using loaded movements, such as dumbbell work or kettlebells, don't go heavy here. Don't think about the person just starting this workout. Think about you gasping for air in round 5. There are probably some of you looking at that program and you're asking that question there, and you can see my response very clearly. Fun fact, I actually fired a client once because when I wrote them their workout, I told them I want you on 3 days a week. She was demanding and insistent that she be in the gym 5 days a week for hours on end. Kicker was, she was a nurse and did a lot of traveling. It was a completely unfeasible, unsustainable program. And Thrive is about creating a sustainable fitness base. And especially when it comes to fat loss, doing more in the gym is rarely the answer. Spend less time in the gym and reinvest it. Focus on meal prep, better sleep, doing things outside of the gym that set you up for better fat loss long term. And ultimately, if you are training hard enough to retain or gain muscle, this will be adequate. In a fat loss phase, it's very hard to build muscle. Focus on retaining with what you have, get the fat loss phase over with as quickly and unreasonably as you can, and then focus on building muscle thereafter. Let's talk about your cardio days. Steady-state cardio performed at 65 to 75% of your max heart rate. It's the only type of training that can actually cause you to live longer. Strength training is not cardio. More than 5 reps is not cardio. Don't say that to me. It is completely ignorant and totally wrong. Strength training makes your heart stronger in the sense that it can handle sudden bursts of effort, but cardio training actually improves your heart's long-term endurance and helps to grow the muscle itself, especially the left ventricle. And as far as getting the cardio done, you can see my favorite approach on screen right now. If you've been following me for any amount of time, it's something I've talked about, the 20-15-10 method. Just pick 3 cardio machines, do 20 minutes on one, 15 on another, and 10 minutes on one more. So this could go recumbent bike, elliptical, stair climber. Something you could also do is sprinkle in a little cyclical work like on day 3 to fill up a given time slot. So you could go 20 minutes on a recumbent bike, 15 minutes of cyclical work, and then 10 minutes on a rowing machine if you'd like. Either way, get this done. It really does make a long-term difference. If you love being in the gym 5 days a week, make sure you're doing those 2 cardio conditioning days. You don't love being in the gym 5 days a week? Then try to stay active on the weekends. Make sure you're moving around, getting at least 10,000 steps. So that's the program overall. Again, it is extremely flexible in nature. If you don't have access to a squat or a bench press or any desire, swap it in for a leg press or a press machine that you do like. Ultimately, fitness is about adapting to you and your circumstance, and Thrive gives you the opportunity to do so using an intelligent framework. An imperfect program that you relentlessly attack progress on and stick to is always going to be the perfect one that you just can't execute. And if you'd like, there's a free copy of this program available at the link below in the description. And until next time, stay safe and have a great time, everybody.